Hey, this is Brian. Today we're going to be doing a power steering pump and a rack and pinion on a Toyota Avalon. This one's a 98 XLS. So I got the 3-liter like they all do. First thing you want to do is you want to pull the, so trying to decide what I'm going to do first, if I'm going to do the pump or if I'm going to do the rack. I think we're going to do the pump because that'll drain it and get things going faster. So the first thing you want to do when you do the pump is pull off the wheel on the right hand side. The next thing you'll want to do is, because I'm going to be doing the rack at the same time because they're both leaking, I'm going to be pulling the tie rods on both sides. To get in there, you want to pull the plastic cover off. It's just two 10mm bolts. It's just this cover that fits up in here. Once you pull those two bolts out, you can see the eyelet there and the other one there. It'll just pull straight down. Next thing you want to do is on the pump itself. So I'm going to get some light. Okay, so I've pulled that little splash guard off. It's those two 10mm bolts. And then the next thing that I do is there's a nut, or not a nut, I always call nuts bolts in these videos because I'm thinking about other stuff. Pull the bolt out of the tensioner slide. That's this one right here. So you can see the mark where it used to be. Basically I just loosened that and then it's only being held up at the top pivot. I'm able to pull on the belt and get it out of the way for doing the pump. So I tuck the belt out of the way. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I've got a drain pan placed below the power steering pump. And this line that you see right here, let's see if I can get a good view of it. This is the return line that comes down from the reservoir. I'm going to take a pair of 90-degree angle needle nose pliers, pinch the clamp together and slide it up. The first thing I'll do is I'll hook underneath the clamp with the pliers and rotate it. If you pull on it in this spot right here, should be able to get it to rotate. It's kind of stuck because it's been on there for 11 years or however long. But basically I'll slide it around to where I can get a good angle on it from this way. You can see as you look through the top, this is going from the passenger side of the car. Just come in over the top, there's a plug that goes down below the power steering cover. You can see the pulley of the power steering pump. Then you can see a little bit of, this part here. That's the pressure sensor for the power steering pump. It basically causes the engine idle to increase through the idle air control motor so that the power steering pump is being turned fast enough in order to move at slow speeds. For example, in a parking lot or something where you're just operating at idle, you just pinch the tab on that. In this case it was on the back side, and it's just a single wire sensor, just like an oil sending unit or a temp sending unit. So you just pull that off the top. That goes into the top of the bolt that secures the high pressure line. Okay, when it comes to getting that pressure line off of there, I tried a bunch of different things that didn't work. I'll tell you what did work. I took a wrench and took off the sensor off the end of it from underneath. Once I had that free, I got a 24mm socket, put it on the breaker bar, and I basically went over the top from down here. I tried all kinds of different angles, different adapters, different flex heads, and what finally got it was I put that socket on, slipped it on, and then just torqued it good and slow and used a breaker bar. Once it cracked, I was able to pull it out by just spinning the socket with my fingers. That's typical on Toyotas. They crack, and then just you can just roll them out by hand with your fingertips. So that's what worked for me. Okay, so just to recap, we've got both the lines off. We've pulled the bolt out of this side here for the tensioner in order to get the belt off. The next thing you do, I pulled the pulley off just so that you'll be able to see the next one. If you reach up above the pulley right here, you can feel the bolt that you've got to pull, and you can get to it with a socket. There's clearance there, but you can't really see it. So I got this pulley pulled so that you can take a look. It's right. Let me grab the light and get that on there a little better here. It's this one. Boy, it's going to wind up on fail vlog. So anyway, this bolt right here is the next one to pull. Once you pull it, it pulls all the bracket off, all these different bolts, and they're a lot easier to deal with once it's out and on the ground. So that's all you've got to do is pull just this top one and the bottom one to get the bracket out. Also, you've got the hoses pulled, as I covered previously. So I'll go ahead and pull that out and go from there. Okay, so here's what you're dealing with once you get it out. You just take the center nut off. This has all been pre-staged, of course. This will just pull off. You might have to pry it back and forth a little bit. Man, it's so much easier with two hands. You got to pull it even both sides. As far as getting this out of there, you see on the back side, see, I put that on backwards, didn't I? Staged it backwards. This part here actually goes like this, so that those line up. Basically this one, it's got a little slot. I don't know if you can see, but the metal's missing there. It's not a complete circle, so that you're able to slip it out. This side is the nut for the top end of this, and this is the tensioner side that slides. So once you back this out, it's a 12mm bolt for both top and bottom. You just zip this out. You can get it out, you know, over the top of the pulley, and then once you have it pulled off, then you can use your impact 17mm, zip the pulley off, and then you zip these out. There's nuts on the back side. You'll have to support those with another 14mm wrench, and then the last one is just this little nut, and then you're free. When you go to put the new one on, you just line these brackets up. This one, basically you can see where the mark is, or a round mark is. It goes on the side that's away from the return line. So that's how you do the power steering pump in a 98 Toyota Avalon. Be sure to, if this was helpful to you, be sure to rate it 5 stars. Feel free to comment below, ask any questions that you might have. And thanks for watching.